So now I've started the recording and you just turned your microphone off again. Nat, your microphone is off. Okay, now it's back on again. And all you have to do now is talk. Nathaniel Potts, say something.
My name's not Nathaniel.
What's your name?
Greg.
What?
Greg Plotz.
Okay, so I got it. The problem, it says it has your name here down as Nathaniel.
Yeah, that's my son's name. I don't know how it got in there.
Oh, it was-
You're Steve, right?
I'm Steve, right? So,
Okay, well, we've talked before.
okay, but now I'm going to put you down as Craig, right?
Greg,
There you are. Okay.
G-R-E-G, yeah.
Greg,
April 7th
Greg,
of
G-R-E-G. Okay, I gotta change that again.
G-R-E-G.
Yeah, okay.
When were you at Trebon, Greg?
68 and 69.
Oh, okay. You were there after I was. This is Hank Newkirk. I was there August 67, August 68. And
When you were 66, 67.
so I got a beautiful view of somebody's ceiling.
Oh, probably.
That's Jim.
There we go.
Now,
we're
you
getting
now you gotta center him. You know, you two guys are married over there, so you can sit next to each other. There's nothing, no laws preventing you from that.
You were 66, 67. Yeah.
So are we the only two from
Jim.
Trebon?
No, this is Trebon right now. Everybody
Oh,
except
this is only Trebon, okay.
now. I see Jim Ferguson there. He's getting a little hairier in his old age.
a little older in his old age too.
Who's H. Lee B? H. Lee B. That's
H. Lee Barnes.
hey, there you are. We
Can
just
you hear
talking
me?
about you. Yes, I can.
I'm here. Can you
You're
see
here.
me?
I can't see you. Turn your camera on.
My camera. Give me a clue. I had it on the other day.
Down below on the bottom right, it says there's a video camera, the second icon over there.
Network internet
No,
access.
down the black area underneath all the pictures.
Yeah, well, that's where I am.
All right, down below you, the last picture in the black area, there's a microphone on the left, then the video, the second.
The videos after that.
Yeah, and there should be a line through it in your case, because you're not showing.
Okay, I got the microphone going. It should.
Your microphone is working fine. Your video is not working.
Okay.
All right, now here we go. Well, no, that's somebody else. Okay. Now you're coming up. Nope, that's
Somebody
Jim
else.
again. Everybody's popping around here as we all get in here.
This is the first time I've ever Zoomed. Other than in airplanes, of course.
Hey,
How you doing?
Okay.
good. How are you?
Good.
Hank Newkirk here.
Brian Canny here.
I'm in San Antonio.
Coventry, Connecticut.
Oh boy. How's the weather up there?
Today it's not bad, 40, but it's been real bad lately.
Yeah, we know. I've got a grandson in Virginia. He's been snowed in twice this week down there.
Virginia. Okay.
Gordon Walker. You know him?
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
All right. Only Lee Barnes is still having a problem with the camera.
How many do you have here today, Steve?
There's 11 so far, counting me.
Okay.
And they're just starting to pop up like rabbits. Okay, 12. Or,
Newark plots.
there we go.
Thanks, Simon.
How about this?
All right.
That's pretty good. Somebody just disappeared. I can't keep track of it all. But down on the bottom of the black area of your screen where all those pictures are, you should have a microphone button, a video button, security, participants, and
Greg Plotz.
Lee, your video should have a line through it, and that's why nobody can see you.
There- For some
Greg
reason,
Plotz.
I entered in Zoom and it,
Early.
Steve,
Yes,
can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, but you're down there as MI3 or something, or MILL.
Oh, that's my wife's.
That's your wife. So how do you want to be addressed?
Bill
Mellon.
Mellon.
Okay.
Know him.
Too many mills here.
Yeah.
Bill Mill.
See Greg Plotz over in the corner.
That's me.
Foxy Plotz.
Who are you now?
Daiwi.
Pardon?
Daiwi Mellon.
Oh, hey, Daiwi, yeah. Wow. So
Been a long time.
yeah, it has been.
What are you doing now?
I'm retired.
What were you doing?
I was an investment banker.
Okay. Where are
Yeah,
you living?
California,
Where?
a little bit north of Los Angeles, Woodland
Okay.
Hills.
Okay.
I wonder what happened to Lee Barnes, especially when I'm going to talk about him.
What about you?
I live outside of Atlanta. I ended up being an accountant. The Army, when we left Vietnam, I only had a high school education. Eventually, the Army sent me back to college and told me to get a degree in accounting. And then in 1979, they said, guess what? We're transferring you to the finance corps.
Oh, boy.
They tried to do
didn't
that
give
to
me
me,
a choice.
too.
They just said it turned out well. We had a really good assignment to Japan, and that kind of ended the career.
Well, we both left Trabong about the same time. That was while the camp was under attack.
Pretty close,
Yeah.
close, within a day or two of each other, I think.
Right.
What year was that?
Gunsell, Ferguson.
69.
69,
Oh, okay.
August of 69.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a year after I left. Yeah.
Okay, when you left in August of 68.
Milburn.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So I came in August of 68
Ritz.
and was there about 3 weeks with Dennis Bailey.
Yeah.
Running things. Were you there then?
He was my XO, and I left the 7th of August.
You left before I got there, because when I got there, he was running things.
Right, exactly.
And
Now, were the elephants still there?
one had already died,
Oh, okay.
and
That-
the other one eventually died. They called a vet out from the Americal division, and what did they have, Greg? Gastroenteritis or
Something, yeah.
anyway,
Yeah,
they put this foot-long needle in it, and I thought the district chief was going to have a heart attack because he thought he was going to get blamed.
Well, that was such a that elephant fiasco was rammed down our throat. It wasn't we started getting pressured to do that when Gonzalo Quesada was my CO. I was the XO at the time. And so we kept pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. And finally in March 68, at the end of the month, they rammed it down our throat. That's when we got the elephants. But it wasn't thought out completely. And as a result, you know, we ran through every bit of food that was in the area. And, you know, we had no real vet stuff. The guys that were supposed to be the handlers of the elephants lasted about 3 weeks, a month, something like that. And, you know, it's just one fiasco after another.
Well, they turned out to be pygmies and they
The
couldn't
what?
do anything.
No. And that sawmill thing, you know, that thing was always broken down.
Well,
And then we got turns out that on the northwest side across the river, that was a national forest. So we weren't supposed to be cutting trees in there to begin with, you know, and that was the whole purpose of those elephants, was to bring logs down from that site up northwest of the camp across the Song Trebong.
oh, well, I don't think anybody at the camp after you left, I don't think anybody knew that was a national forest. Nobody ever told us.
Really?
You know, Brian Canny.
Did you
Well-
know that, Greg?
Rich, Aaron,
that?
that's you over there, right? Aaron,
I'm back in.
you back,
Back in.
there you are, please. Aaron, that's you over there? I'm gonna rename you.
These are all the ones that, yeah.
Steve,
Right,
can I say something very quickly? I think all these gentlemen were at the camp after me, long after me. I was there in 66.
That's what you would,
yeah,
you know.
you were the one of the first people. I just left Jim McNamara, who was at A109 at the same time, and he was a classmate of schools.
Yeah.
So, but before you go saying anything, let me suggest to people that you may want to take a look at this book over here.
When we walk above the cloud.
That's Lee Barnes' book. Good book, and all about Trebong particularly.
Did you know?
Oh, really?
I have that on my Kindle.
Or you have to open up your Kindle and read it.
Yeah.
66 was a tough year for that.
We lost 4 of my teammates immediately.
Yeah.
No, it's
all
3
in
weeks.
one night.
Yeah, 3 weeks after we were in country. I was supposed to go on that operation at the last minute. They canceled me out and took Earl Brown on it. And I've talked about it in the past, but it was very ill-advised what they did. Unfortunately, neither the team sergeant nor the executive, because we had an acting executive officer, spoke up to end the whole thing. And that's a sad part. They marched right down everybody's familiar with that road into Anawa and to the east of there. They marched right down the valley, subject, of course, to ambush from the high ground and from the rice paddies both, and got caught in between. And I think there was 105 total Vietnamese, and of course the 4 Americans, and all 4 Americans died that day. And it's very sad. Mini monsoon, so we had the ceiling was 0. We could not get aircraft in, and without air support, it was. I'm sure that when you guys launched your operations down the valley, you launched on days when you could get air support in. So
Well, you know, that was their MO. attack in the wintertime during the monsoon. When we were attacked, I see that was in the summertime. Well, I never could figure that out. And that night we had Puff the Magic banging out. In the morning we had F4s with.
Now, without Puff, I'm not sure what kind of shape we would have been in the next morning.
Well, they were dropping cluster bombs. So, but why did they attack in the summertime?
Nobody ever figured out, or if they did, they didn't tell us. All you could think of was that there was some big attack set for July or 29 or somewhere, and they were trying to infiltrate a unit that we were blocking.
Well, that's usually what they did. They went around Trebong to get to the coast, north and south.
Yeah, that was an infiltration route.
Yeah.
Even when I was there, it started.
In Tet of 68, they were all over the place, all around us, and they never even bothered us at the camp. They just went on to the coast. But getting back to that same area you're talking about, that's where I was wounded in May of 68. In that same area, there was an old deserted church there, right to the, oh gosh, where was I then? Just to the west of the church, as I remember, but rice paddies, and then across to the road, and then up to the mountains or hills.
I'm going to share
That
the
was
screen
actually a
over here.
pagoda. That was actually a Buddhist pagoda up there.
Okay, now you got a map over here. That
Yeah.
map is up on the website, by the way. So you go to Trebong on the website, you can open this map up.
Yeah, he got wounded probably right up in here because that's where the pagoda would have been in that
Yeah,
area.
there was something.
Yeah, that's where our captain's body was found. He was taken up there and assassinated, and they chopped his head off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All that went home to his wife was his head.
It's funny that none of that was ever, we never knew any of that took place earlier on when we were there.
Lee, you were the escort officer.
No, that was Norwood. That was the escort officer.
Okay.
Yeah. I never got to leave the camp until I went down to train with the combat recon platoon. And that was the only time, other than, just missions or food missions into Da Nang, get scrounge food.
Right.
Yeah.
Those were the good days.
Those were the better. Yeah,
Where did you scrounge your food?
Navy.
Okay.
Navy,
There-
Deepwater
that-
Port.
That never changed. I guess that stayed permanent as long as I can remember.
Did you guys Montagnard crossbows?
Oh, yeah.
Greg, I'll let you tell about the crossbow business.
Yeah.
What?
I'll let Greg talk about the crossbow business.
Oh my God. I remember you told me, do not take him down to the Montagnard village. The guy that came in from civil action, he was a major, and he just kept insisting that he go down there. And that was the end of the crossbow business.
Oh, he actually cut it off?
Oh my God, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That didn't
Whenever we went to the village, crossed over the Song Trebong, and they'd all come out with 3 or 4 crossbows each, and we'd buy them from them and then resell them. And this major came in from CA, and he kept insisting to go down to the village, and finally he gave me a direct order to take him down there, and that was the end of the crossbow business.
That's too bad.
Well, I'll tell you, that didn't last, because that was our source of items, goodies to supply to use as trade items with the Navy and everybody else that wanted crossbows, So that's where we got a lot of our food. Plus, we had one of our NCOs there was named Pasquale, and his cousin, uncle, they were Filipinos, and his cousin or uncle or somebody was head of the fire unit there at the Deepwater Port. So they grabbed food and put it on the fire truck, which was never checked when it went out of the checkpoint there into Da Nang. And we'd just be waiting there to get the food and swap off the crossbows and whatever, and send it back out to Dabong on the daily trip.
Yeah, that's what we did too. It's my moment to brag. One time we were sitting in a team house and a rat was up there on the rafters, and I shot it off, killed it with a crossbow.
Yeah, that was
Lucky
great
shot.
support.
I mean, it wasn't like I was a great shot with a crossbow. I just lifted the crossbow up, fired, bing, got it. I think Gritzmacher was there when that happened. I think he was actually a witness to that. Somebody, either Gritzmacher or Hank Luthi was there.
We worked out a deal with the chief that ran the
There,
Navy's
Gritzmacher
depot
verified.
back in Da Nang, and we used to trade captured weapons
Yeah, we did that too.
for most of our food.
Yep, that was a great piece of currency, but that was actually great wood. I don't know what wood they used. That was amazing wood on those crossbows.
Yeah, I still have one somewhere around here. But all my nephews got them, and I sent a bunch back to Dallas, where all our family is.
Yeah,
We were still trading crossbows with Chulai, with the Seabees
Yeah,
in Chulai in August and September of 70. So
Really?
they were hard to come by, but there wasn't a regular industry. But when they showed up, we were sure glad, because that meant basically a freezer full of steak.
Right, exactly. We even had lobster tail.
Living large.
It was from the general's mess or something like that. It was, somebody way up in the upper ranks. But the other thing was, Chulai, I don't know if you guys, we got a cement mixer that we bought out to the camp there that we airlifted in from Chulai, and that was a result of crossbow trades. It was a hand crank.
We were still using that after you left.
Is that right? Oh, okay. Well, I was
We
the
used that for a
acquisition
long
guy.
time.
I was the acquisition guy in that transaction. I
We
came
had
from the POW camp there at the end of the airstrip in Chulai.
we had all of the trenches concreted
Uh-huh.
and concrete ceilings, and then sandbagged over. Everything was underground.
Oh, okay.
Remember the bunker? Do you guys remember the big bunker?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I
Okay,
lived in the
I
one.
built that. I built that along with Willie Hunter, and our cement mixer was a group of mountain yards with shows and hovels and shovels and hoes. That was how we mixed the concrete for that thing. And it should have gone under. I think we went underground 4 feet or 3.5 feet, and we were above ground almost 6 feet. So
Something like, yeah.
that was all hand poured and hand mixed, and it was a labor that it took the better part of a month to get it finished.
Are you talking about the one right in the center of the top of the hill?
Top of the hill, yeah.
The pillbox, right?
That
That
was
was my quarters.
Yes.
I was the only one that lived above ground, and I lived in that bunker.
Yeah, so you could get all.
Haley
those
had
windows.
that fixed up really nice. That was extremely
Oh.
nice inside.
Did you put-
I lived there for a year, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
Did you put
I
curtains up?
I just lived in the team house. I never stayed in the bunker.
You lived in a team house?
Yeah. Right there outside of the ops room, the first room. If you went out of the ops room, right to the right there.
After they got the trenches finished, they built individual and two-man cubicles along the trench line. So most of us had either a room or a shift room.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
you got that finished after we left.
right.
You guys were there in 68?
This was 69 and 70.
69 and 70. Yeah.
Okay, we were there in
Was-
68 and 69.
Okay.
Was a Chinese labor fella there still when you were
Mo.
there?
Oh,
Mo.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
great guy. Still have his knife here that he gave me when I
Oh,
left.
I've got a knife.
I think he gave that to every captain that was there.
Okay, maybe he did, but it's hanging on my wall.
I don't know what my grandson's played around with all that. It's in here someplace. But they all have dibs on various items that they want eventually. But he was a great guy. I'll tell you what, he could fix anything, make anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what he made those knives from?
Big writings. on it.
Spring from a Jeep.
yeah.
Oh,
Jeep
is that right?
springs.
Wow.
Only.
Now, were they still supplying y'all with Caribou aircraft?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was primary.
Yeah, that's what it was. But did they put the PSP down on the airstrip?
No.
Oh,
No.
so it stayed dirt, huh?
Somebody just asked me a question, if I can answer it real quickly.
Sure.
I was there in October. I left in November of 66. So whoever asked that question, I think that's Gritzmacher there, isn't it?
No, it was Ferguson that asked the question.
Ferguson asked the question. Yeah.
Hey,
Is that Bill Obermeyer?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
The head scratch master.
okay. Great to see you. This was our scrounger. He's the one that got everything.
Oh, okay.
Bill, I don't know if you can focus your camera a little bit better. I don't know
I don't know what the hell. Yeah, it looks foggy.
maybe just wipe it off. The fingerprints off the lens.
That's what they see.
Wipe,
There's
clean
Ferguson.
the lens off.
I'll be right back.
Alright?
Here.
He was there when you were there. 66.
What? Who is this?
66, 67.
A fellow by the name of Goldstein was the CO when I arrived. And then I was the XO, and Gonzalo Quesada was the CO. And he was a SF reserve guy, but he was with the agency in his real world. He was a Bay of Pigs survivor, barely.
Oh, wow. I came to Vietnam from the 8th.
Uh-huh.
We had all of those guys.
Oh, did you really?
We did. I mean, everybody down there spoke Spanish except me.
Yeah. Well, I had a chance to go there when Roger Donlin took over back in 70 something.
Yeah.
But I didn't get the Spanish thing, so I couldn't go.
When Donlin left there,
Mhm.
he came to Japan as commander of United Nations Rear Detachment in Tokyo.
Oh, really?
His office was 2 doors. I was the finance officer there. His office was 2 doors down from mine. He and I got to be big buddies. Our kids played soccer together.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's in
He
Kentucky
is.
or Tennessee, someplace up in there.
I
That's the last I heard, anyhow. But he was in Thailand, and he was in the embassy in Thailand,
Yeah.
and we were running operations over into Burma at that time, and he was in charge of that stuff. It was
Okay.
to help the free Burmese and to help the free Karen tribes people. And we were in out. It wasn't a combat thing for us. It was for them, but we were just there to. I don't know what we were there for, to tell you the truth. But it was one of those hush hush deals, But it was fun. It was a cross the border operation, and we walked in and walked back out to our trucks by the River Kwai. Went back to Loperia after that. But that was 72, 73.
okay.
But the other thing I was going to ask: did everybody get inducted into the Kua tribe while you were in Trebon?
Yes.
Get your. I still have my little bracelets here someplace, but that was quite an ordeal, wasn't it?
Oh, the brass
20
bracelets. Yeah.
24 hours of eating and drinking and trying to stay awake through it all. But that was a good time.
I'm going to try and move this into a darker room. I'm on a horse ranch and I got a lot of windows. And
Where are you, Bill?
I'm in the central coast of California, halfway between Los Angeles and San Francisco. I'm a half an hour from the ocean in a place called Atascadero, which means mud hole in Spanish.
Oh, I know where that is.
If any of you are ever out here, you got a free place to stay. I'm right close to the beach. We have 328 wineries here. I got into horses after the service, skydiving, really. I really got into that. And then I met somebody that said, if you want to be with me, give up skydiving, you get into Arabian horses. So I raced horses for my whole life. My wife left like 5 years ago to hook up with somebody from high school or something. So I'm by myself. I do vacation boarding for people that go on vacation. And anyway, if you're ever out in California or you ever want to come here, you got a free place to stay. Not going to cost you anything. I'll be happy to give you a tour, San Simeon, Hearst Castle, what have you.
Good.
I commanded an infantry company for 2 years at Hunter Liggett.
Hunter Liggett. I've ridden my horse out there many miles.
That was the old hunting lodge.
It's still very active. When Trump was in office, they had a lot of troops there for something nobody would say, but now it's different.
Yep.
Bill, I lived in Templeton as a kid.
No shit, really?
Oh, shit.
I'm one exit from
In a
there.
trailer, yeah. And then my stepfather was a captain at Fort Roberts at the time.
Really?
Yeah, Camp Roberts.
It's just right up. I go up there. There's a big mill there. That's where I get all my horse feed and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, it probably didn't have all that much back in those days, but
It's still a small little town, believe it or not.
small little town. It was a great place to go. You know, they had that river there. You could go catch snakes.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you're
we
a
go
kid,
right.
that's fun. Yeah.
Sorry about this fogginess. I don't know what the hell it is. Is it still foggy?
Yes.
Yeah, you're still
It
fun.
is.
I'm going to try and move it into the bedroom. Did you ever come back here and visit?
Templeton?
Yeah.
No, I haven't been there since I was a kid. But it was a great area to be a kid in, believe me. Wide open. They barely had any grapes there then, but now I'd love to go there because they're producing really good wine, and well, that's my
Oh.
hobby.
Bring your significant other if you have one. If you don't, that's even better.
How about 2 dogs?
2 dogs. I have 2 Yorkies. Actually, I have 1 Yorkie. I just had to put one down the other day. But yeah, you can bring dogs. Fine. I got 5 acres here. Everything's spent.
I gave up wives for dogs.
Wow.
Speaking of snakes, do you remember the cobra we had in camp?
I do. I
about a
can't remember.
9-foot
Was it
cobra?
John Seinfeld that was in the latrine,
Seinfeld.
or was
Yes.
it Jim Shepard?
Pardon?
You know, Seinfeld or Shepard or somebody was going to the bathroom when the cobra appeared in the.
Oh, it's way.
It actually got down in the combo bunker.
Oh, yeah.
We used to get a lot of the 2-step deaths, the little green guys. When I was in
Yeah, but
camp.
This
whole area.
cobra we had a lot of the small ones. This cobra was huge.
Yeah.
And somebody went to the 2-holer and sat down, and the cobra was there.
Oh my.
And he comes running out, holding up his pants with one hand and yelling, "Snake, snake, snake."
I built that 2-holer, by the way. The same time I built the bunker, I had to build a 2-holer because the one that we had before that, Norwood went over and poured gasoline in it to burn it out. And then he didn't tell me. I went over and poured in more gasoline and lit it and set the thing on fire and blew the top off. So I had to replace all of that. So you were shitting in my holes.
Yeah. Nice.
Mo had to rebuild it because when we found the snake, we burned it down.
Oh, okay. Well, then it wasn't the same one.
We built
Well,
it
it was
right
the same
back
one,
on
but then-
we built it back on the same spot.
Okay.
but the snake was in there somewhere and we weren't going to fool with it anymore.
Well, Bo kept working on that sort of thing. And when we turned it over to the Provisional Rangers, we had the only restroom in I-Corps that had a shower. It was all, he built a nice little permanent flush toilets, showers.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Wait. I scrounged that stuff to make that shower.
Oh, did you?
The toilet and the water tank. I moved around, but shit, this is even worse in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the water tank from Da Nang and the toilet, and everyone shit when I bought that toilet. And I remember all the yards, and we had the Mama Sans cooking stuff. They went up there, and they would just push the button and watch it flush. They were like blown away.
You know,
And then after a while, all we got was footprints on the seat. We had to like make it off limits.
You were there just before these.
when you were there in 69, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, when you were there in 69 and 70, you had this nice concrete building and everything.
No, we had a Quonset hut for the rice that the rats got in.
Right.
No,
And-
Bill. No, Bill. The people. I'm Bill Mellon. I didn't introduce myself at
Okay.
first. Anyway, the people after us,
Oh, after us.
they got the concrete building that we had started the shower and all that stuff in.
The big hole.
What they don't know is the reason why. The Vietnamese Special Forces team threw a grenade in the arms room and blew it up.
No.
We had
Okay.
trouble with them. Yeah, we did.
Remember the fight we had with them, Greg?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Uh,
And then they finally, they traded teams and they brought in a new LLDB team and,
they brought in a Thai team to take
Right.
their place.
right.
Oh, those guys are good. That
They
was Nguyen Van Ty, the one that was,
Now, when you were there, was Dowie Dop the
Yeah,
commander
Doc
of the
Dreyer.
LLD?
Yeah,
Doc
Doc was,
Dreyer, I've got pictures of the elephant that Doc Dreyer killed, and on the back of the black and white photos, also have color photos. They had an article in the Drop about some guy went out there and said there was never elephant. I got pictures of us killing that last elephant because it stepped on a mine. And,
oh, really? Well, that's good to hear what happened to him.
yeah, he injected something into him and then didn't do it. And we wound up shooting quite a few times to get him out of his misery.
Yeah.
By the
Well,
way,
that was probably better for everybody to get rid of those.
Doc Dreyer was such a good guy. I used to do, we did Monday. Potts, you were there just as I, weren't you there? Were you a medic, Potts? Because there was the Potts there, just when I first got there.
Yeah,
Okay. Because you handed me an AR-15 and a bunch of stuff, said, here, Obi, take this, and I was going, shit, that's too heavy. I took an M79. But I wish I would have taken your advice. But anyway, Dreyer he was a good guy.
Greg,
Yeah,
did you and
Bill
Bill
and I-
Dreyer? Did you and Bill Dreyer stay in contact?
no,
Briefly, I was a camp engineer and I had defoliant sprayed all over the camp, and luckily I was gone every time I had it sprayed. Dreyer wasn't. He got cancer and of the testicles or something, and the last I heard, he had just survived that, and I haven't heard from him. Gosh, it's been probably 20 years.
Well, he's dead.
He is.
yeah,
He
they,
is.
yeah, he is dead. I saw that on the, they have the list of what had happened to all. and
Oh, really?
they had him-
Yeah.
They had him deceased, so, but he and I went through every bit of training together.
Is that right?
yeah.
He was like such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He was the only person, well, we had these top secret Dexedrine pills. And so Dreyer would slip me a couple now and then because, man, I tell you, those yards could take the hell off. And, but once you took one of those, you're fucked because by the time you got back to the camp, you'd be all wired and puke and everything else. But
Dreyer came out to Trebong about 2 or 3 months after I had been there. And I was just shocked to see him because we had gone, like I said, we had gone through all of the training together.
God, how cool was that?
Yeah. And then when we were attacked, I was actually, the night I had my gear in the team house, I was going to take the first helicopter to start out processing, and I didn't get out for 2 or 3 weeks. They sent another medic out that had been in our class, a guy by the name of Greg. Greg Flores.
All right.
And he had been in the same class as Dreyer and I. And he was still there when I left. And Dreyer was still there too. You know, but we didn't stay in touch, and I just saw that, you know, on the sheet, and that he had been deceased.
Well, tell us about when the camp was attacked.
The
Well,
first week in August of '69.
Yeah.
69.
Yeah,
We were watching a movie in the team house, and we
Right.
got a radio call from our South OP that they were taking incoming, and we turned the movies off. Everyone went to their stations. We put up illumination, and by that time, AmeriCal had set up a fire base there too.
That was 105s.
They got involved too.
Were you with?
Now, were the Rock Marines still down the way towards the AmeriCal division?
Pardon?
The Rock
No.
Marines,
no,
they gone? We had that, and then on the south side across from the Rocks, there was a platoon of AmeriCal people there when I was there, and they kind of come and go, and so would
Worthless.
the 105s would come and go. They'd come and we wouldn't know they were coming, and they'd leave and we didn't know they were leaving. It was that well coordinated.
well, you know, they eventually co-located an 8-inch 175 battery with us.
Holy cow, really?
If
Right.
you went out the entrance to the camp
Right,
down into that flat area next to the river,
right
The
by the
175
chopper pad.
the 175 8-inch battery, you know, bivouacked in there. And we had fought for months. I guess we had them the last 3 months I was there,
Uh-huh,
but we had fought and fought and fought. We had no artillery support.
right.
But anyway, finally got these guys out there. What we had to agree to is that they could fire back over our heads at night.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And that was the only way they would put them out there.
See, we had 175 support, but only for H&I fire. We'd plot locations on the north side of the river and then on the south side in the mountains or hills. And we'd do H&I fire at night with 175s, but we never fired straight over our camp or short of our camp.
Well, that was the only way we could get them out there. And we still only did H&Is with the 175s.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to
Not
step
very
in first.
many people we had 8 inches for direct support. I mean, if we got out and got in bad contact, the 8-inch was what we used.
Wow. Yeah, we had none of that. The only thing we had was our fact pilot was Jim Britton, Jake 45.
Oh, yeah. I
And I
remember
don't know if
him.
Yeah, last I talked to him, he was moving from the Dallas area up to Colorado, and he was retiring from the airlines. He'd been an airline pilot.
You know, he got a plum assignment because of the job he did as fact. They sent him to Switzerland
Oh my
as
God.
attaché.
He never told me that. I'll be darned.
Yep.
I'm gonna leave and come back and see if the screen gets better.
Okay.
I just got my teeth cleaned. I want you to see how nice they look.
Hey, John, do you remember when the FAC brought the fast movers in on you and I when we were on operation together?
I do.
Oh, I had
do.
the same experience. F4s.
Have you ever looked at an F4 nose on with two 500-pound bombs that have just been let loose and they're headed your way?
Well, I did when they Jim Britton had him. I couldn't even hear him coming, and I was down in the middle of a rice paddy, and he brought him in behind me, and they dropped all sorts of cluster bombs up about 100 yards to my, or due out. Let's see, that would be to my west, 100 yards to the west, and all those cluster bombs went off, and those jets poured on the coal, and it was like the air was sucked out, all the oxygen was gone.
Well, you know,
It just sucked and then after that, you could stand up and all you heard were birds chirping. Not a round was fired back at us after that.
If the guy in the lead F4 had been a better aimer, Plotz and I wouldn't be here, because the 500 pounders were dropped on us.
Oh,
The AO went down into the center of the valley to the north.
right.
Well, Greg Plotz and I had an operation, and we had gone over the North Ridge line and about halfway down the other side.
Oh,
An American operation on the north side of the next valley saw this group of Vietnamese and
yeah.
called their fours in on it.
Yeah, those guys had a habit of coming into Trebong's AO and not coordinating their arrival.
They did.
We almost
They did.
called airstrike on them one time because they were rude. We just found out at the last minute it was Americans.
But yeah, I mean, here we are. There's two Americans there, and we're waving hands and trying to get this guy to go elsewhere. And there's two 500 pounders headed straight for us.
Yay.
Man.
Have any of y'all looked at Google Maps lately of Trebong area?
Haven't even thought about it. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's something. It's quite different.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. It not anything we recognize.
Yeah.
So can you see the old camp on those photos?
No,
Really?
no, I didn't.
No, they obliterated it. I'm not
Yeah.
entirely sure why. That had to have been a lot of work.
Oh yeah. But my grandsons and I were looking at Google Map. Well, we have over the years several times now, and it gets more fancy every time I look at it.
Yeah.
Never been back there though.
I've been to Da Nang, never got out to Trebong.
Yeah, I never been back to Vietnam at all.
Well,
You couldn't.
my wife and I did a lot of cruising for a while.
Yeah, my sister-in-law did that.
We stopped in Da Nang on one.
Yep. Even that's totally different, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Everything. We stopped in Nha Trang also.
Like
Nha
big
Trang looks
resorts,
like-
right?
Nha Trang looks like Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, though I did the Google Maps of Da Nang too, and it looked like a big resort area.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
it was. I always tell my grandkids that you survive it all. It's a big adventure. If you don't, then it's too bad.
Well, that's kind of the way it was.
Gentlemen, if I may, for a
Sure.
second, you guys were talking about the H&I fire, and Gritzmacher is with us. He's not talking apparently over anyhow. We got 155s from Camp Starlight, which I guess became Camp Carroll, the Marine Corps. They dropped them right in our camp, hit our Vietnamese. I was up on top of the bunker sleeping, and got shrapnel over the top of me, and our team sergeant was up there at the time. Anyhow, 4 of our Vietnamese were wounded. I think 3 or 4. 3 or 4, Grits, nod your head. But okay, anyhow, 3 or 4 of our Vietnamese got wounded. One of them lost his leg, and of course the medics, Gritzmacher and Norwood, went to work on him in the team house. did the best they could to save them, managed to save one. Yeah, Rich Bunker's got COVID and he lost his voice. So anyhow, they worked on him. The one I stayed with, because there were 3 that were wounded. The one I stayed with and everything died. He lost his leg in the explosion. So the next day, the Marine captain came out to talk. I don't know whether he's from Camp Carroll or Camp Starlight, but he came out to the camp and one of the Vietnamese, he assessed the damage. He didn't want to believe that they put it in our camp. And of course, our team leader told him to cease fire and that they were in our camp. Of course, the Marine said, no, we're not. And he said, well, I got dying Vietnamese to say otherwise. The next day, this captain comes out and he's touring the compound and everything else. And one of the Vietnamese came up and gave him this package wrapped in a piece of paper, and it was the Vietnamese leg. So we didn't ask for too much H&I fire around the camp after that. We depended on drop the 500 pounders across to the north and everything. And if they were gonna do H&I, we wanted it way to the north of us.
We never had any in close. We never brought any in close.
No,
No,
they didn't want it close. It was actually supposed to be on the other side of the mountain. They put it right in our camp.
Oh, wow.
Somebody was smoking too much dope.
Wow.
They were smoking a lot of that. I couldn't believe it.
And of course,
Soldiers all
don't
fucked
forget,
up.
it's
Yeah.
not Army artillery, it's Marine artillery.
Yeah.
Marines are great soldiers, but they don't know how to calculate numbers.
Well, they had a Marine platoon down there towards Chulai, and they were so poorly resupplied. We'd bring them new fatigues and stuff like that because they were just like in rags all the time when I was there.
That was the CAP program, and those guys were the redheaded stepchild of the Marine Corps.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, it was horrible.
They
Bringing
were
food.
fine guys, but they basically put a squad into the village, and it's your job to, it's their job to survive for a year. If they make it, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, the Rock Marines were our official POW interrogators.
Ooh.
And they were terrific. They understood the Asian mind.
They
Yes.
must have all left when you left. We didn't have any of those guys.
Oh, didn't you really? Oh, there was a lieutenant that was in charge of them. A Korean lieutenant, spoke flawless English, was about 6'2", and I'd go down and spend 2 or 3 days there with them from time to time. Well, we all did, and every morning they'd get up and do their drill of PT. It was something like watching a choreographed ballet. It was so beautiful to watch. As the sun was coming up, and they'd be shouting, and those guys were something else. I had nothing but respect for them.
When the Americal came in, the Rocks moved on to other places.
Yeah, the Americal was different.
And the Americal kept running into
Very
mines
good.
that the Rocks had put out there, and they blamed it on the NBA. As a result, you had My Lai, because everybody in the Americal was pissed off about getting booby trapped when it wasn't
Yeah.
the fact.
It's funny that one of my high school, well, he was a year behind me in high school in Dallas. He was in the Americal division when all that happened, and then he extended and got that job as a PIO officer in the Triang in the SF, and he replaced what's the name of the guy that did the TV?
Jim Morris.
Jim Morris, when Morris was wounded, and John Moody was his name, and John got out and went to graduate school, and after got into the TV business. He's still out in the West Coast.
Jim,
After I left after I left camp, I extended and I ended up in the train for 6 months.
Hmm.
The group commander wanted to establish a core tactical zone area specialist office. So we made the senior in-country captain from each corps come into S3 office in the train.
Hmm.
And my intel clerk got pulled back to My Lai to be the interpreter on the investigation team.
That must have been fun.
He had a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah.
Jim Ferguson, when did you get to 107? Was Lee still there?
We overlapped by a month. Because I came in October, he left in November. And he was my senior, and is the guy that showed me all around the camp and into the pillbox, and he had it set up so that you could blow the claymores on any side of the camp you wanted. But we only overlapped by a month.
Well, if you'll recall, the day that I left under bad circumstances because our team sergeant wanted me to burn out the elephant grass had all dried out and was dying over because I defoliated everything. He wanted to burn it out, and it was a lawful order, but it was a stupid order, and I wouldn't do it. I told him, I said, as soon as you burn it out, you're going to get regrowth here. You're going to have elephant grass there, and the Viet Cong can sneak up on you. And he didn't want to hear it. So the next day, I was getting ready to be discharged anyhow. So the next day, they ran me out of camp. Otherwise, I would have hung around long enough to work with you some more. But we had a pretty lame team sergeant and team leader at the time.
Was that Haran?
Yeah, Haran, yeah.
Yeah.
Haran actually approved letting a chaplain, who was, I think he was a lieutenant colonel or a major, go on an operation armed with an M16.
Wow.
Because the chaplain wanted to go out there. Now, obviously, that is just poor judgment. And 2 people got wounded on that. One of them was the chaplain, and one of them was, I can't remember the guy's name on our camp that got wounded. But Norwood, our medic, was on, senior medic at the time, was on the operation. And he said, I'm leaving the camp right now. Get me out of here right away. So we endured, besides losing 4 people, we endured an awful lot in that camp because at the time, I think Colonel Facey just treated it like it was a dump off place for people who didn't belong. They didn't want to send to other camps.
Well, we had J.V. Carroll as our team sergeant for a good while. I don't know if any of y'all knew J.V.
Oh, yeah, J.V. was our intelligence sergeant. He and I were close.
Yeah, he was a character, I'll tell you.
He was a character. Even more when he was drinking.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, I was going to say, when wasn't he?
Yeah, but
that I'm sure was his demise.
You guys actually have to read the book. When We Walked Above the Clouds, you have to read it because it gives you, it sets up everything. It sets up everything. So you understand how that camp operated. There you go. Alan's got it up there. He read it.
What's it called? When We Walk Above the Clouds?
When We Walked Above the Clouds. What do you think, Alan? Did it capture it?
You know, I was at Trebon the last 2 months of 1969, and Obi, I think we went to we're in training group together with with Winters and Mike.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay. We were both engineers, and I was at Bateau for 10 months, and I got into it with some of the CIDG, so I had to leave immediately. Within 20 or 30 minutes. So I went, the B team sent me to Trebong just to finish my tour out. But I would say my first impression of Trebong was I think you guys had the roughest terrain of all the A camps.
Oh, fucking steep.
Yeah, I mean, it was either up or down.
Oh, shit, yes.
And,
Yeah.
and I do remember like in Bateau, the ridge lines, just, you could go for, it seemed like for miles on grass plateaus, which were fairly dangerous if, with booby traps if you weren't looking close. It was easy to get hurt up there. I would say though, I can't remember too much about Trebon. We did have a pair of 8-inch and a pair of 175s there at the end of 1969, because I was on an operation to the west of camp that shelled the hell out of the ridge that we're going to take, because it was dug in by the NVA. There were we could see some trench lines, you know, as we were.
Yeah, Tra-Tra-Nam was a common area. You always got hit there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was west of camp. And
Yes, correct.
I wouldn't say Trebon was beautiful. But Bateau, I'm going to just say a few things about Bateau 106. We in '69 we got a good team together in a well-run camp for the most part, and we had the best chow in I-Corps though. I'm going to say in Company C we had the best chow, I think. That's my brag right there. But
Who was the CO there when you were there?
Who
was the team leader?
Oh, I can't remember the captain who was.
Was he a black guy?
Yes, it was. Just a minute.
John Jones?
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't remember if he was at Minlong or Bateau.
No, he was at Bateau, and he was on Christmas Day. He went nuts and was what do you call it? Sent back on the 26th. I'm not sure what the story is behind that, and I'm going to find out maybe next month. But we had a fairly good team at Bateau with Dick Thomas. Oh, okay. And at the end, there was a training camp at Bateau. Dick Thomas, Petty, Dean Sheets. We had McIntyre, really, really good senior people. So thanks for just letting me say that. I mean, I really appreciate it. And Obi, when I got back to the States, I was with the 6th and hung out at the Green Beret Parachute Club and was trained free fall by Gene Thacker. And probably made about 30 free falls and did it for a couple of years. Then I just found other interest. You know, you spend too much time out the airport waiting for good weather.
Yeah, it was just fun diving. I mean,
yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
Lee quotes J.V. Carroll as saying that the war was really about rice, the North suffering a shortage and the South having abundance.
What's that?
You quote J.V. Carroll saying that the war was about rice.
That's correct.
North suffering a shortage. South
One canteen cup a day. That's what we fed that the yards got paid. That was it.
Well, in terms of the North versus the South,
that's what it was about.
A very important observation.
Yeah, that's
very
what it was
few
about.
people have made. There's people who are writing some papers now about that subject, just coming to realize that was in fact the case. You know, they were still importing rice after the division up through 1955 from south to north. They cut that off, and that was the end of their.
Right.
JV was actually a very astute man in his own way. He was a character, and he had a problem with the bottle, which is not unusual in special forces camps. That happens at camps, but he was astute and everything. I had a lot of respect for him, a lot more respect for him and the early two sergeants than I had them later on. So, but then sometimes when you spend the full year or all your tour at one camp, and people come in, new people come in, and everything else, they change things around. You know what's going on, and they don't. Especially if you're just an E5, they don't want to hear it from you. So,
Well, another thing that Lee said in his book here, I really liked. He said, near dusk, mosquitoes swarmed in to feed on our stateside blood. They are ubiquitous, tenacious. Though we swatted and killed quite a few, nothing discouraged them. And the introduction of sorts to the futility of body count as a winning strategy in Vietnam.
yeah, that's right.
I like that. That was a good quote out of your book.
I had a question for James Ferguson, if I may. James, after I left the camp, did it get any better, or did you have problems with what happened there?
Yeah, we had problems with him. Finally, he left. And another guy came in who was just as bad. Then we finally got Captain Callahan in, who was a great captain. But the first night he came to camp, he had I think it was a Walt or a PPK or something. And he wanted to show us what a good weapon it was. And he took it out and he put his hand up against it and said, you see, when you push it like this, you can't pull the trigger. And then he moved his hand.
we had that same experience with Grady's Pride. Did any of y'all know Grady Vines? Did anybody know Grady?
I do.
Oh, I know that name.
Yeah, he shot himself in the hand too, right in the fat part of the hand with a Walther PPK also.
Oh, you want to talk about somebody shooting himself? We had Bill Obermeyer. Bill Obermeyer's senior demo guy named Seinfeld, and he's dead now. But
Seinfeld is dead? Really? Oh my God! Wow.
If a caribou came in, somebody had to go down and meet it. So there was a 45 on a web belt hanging in the team house, and you grabbed that and you went. Whoever was closest.
Yeah.
Well, Steinfeld was closest. He grabbed it and started out, and he starts yelling, "Oh my dick! Oh my dick!"
Oh,
he shot himself with a 45. When he pulled it, I don't know. Nobody knows what he did. He couldn't remember when he pulled it off the wall. It went off.
Oh my God!
And,
we just all used our own weapons. Were y'all still bringing in the cattle and pigs and all that junk every week? Either Lolex or on the back of the caribou?
We brought in some occasionally, didn't we, Bill?
We brought them every week.
No, we didn't have every week.
I did a lot of scrounge missions and using the caribous to go in, and I was always amazed by the Vietnamese. They just let on the plane. You don't know if they're VC or what the fuck they were. They just got on.
Right.
I was like always blown away. And one time we had a guy get on that wouldn't put the seatbelt on. And so the crew chief comes out and says, "Hey, Obi, just because I did a lot of trips." He says, "Watch this, we're going to negative G's." And so the plane went up and went down and no gravity. And this guy in the back, he was up there flying around. When the plane pulled out, he hit the ground so hard in the plane. He was locked onto the webbing. We couldn't get him out of the plane. Up to this day, I wanted to always be a fly on the wall to his hooch to what the hell happened to him in the plane that he was in no gravity. The stuff we did for them was crazy.
Those caribou pilots are something else.
Sergeant Leonard, a black team sergeant that was
Team Sergeant
Leonard.
Wayne Leonard, yeah.
Wayne Leonard. I've always that individual to this day made me who I am. He was really a great guy. He taught me. I remember one time being pinned down in the river, and he yelled at me, "Get up, and I was like going, shit, I don't know if I should stay here or what, but calling in artillery, showing me how to do it and everything, fire for effect, let a couple in. He was like a super good,
He was a great team sergeant.
yes.
Hey, were the assault boats and outboard motors still there in the camp when y'all were there?
No.
No, I didn't see
Okay,
it.
back in the rainy season, we ordered assault boats and outboard motors and established a Trevong Yacht Club. And we went cruising up and down the river doing H&I fire up while the water was real high, you know? And we'd go back and forth up and down the river firing on the north side of the bank primarily. But
Oh, wow.
that was a lot of fun too. I forgot how far down we went, but way down there.
The
But
best we could do, and I don't know if either one of these guys remember, we put an 81 millimeter in the back of a deuce and a half, sandbagged it and everything.
Yeah.
We used to go up and down the valley with a deuce and a half, firing 81 millimeter rounds off to the north and south.
No, didn't do that. I had a 4 deuce short round laying right in front of me as I was coming back from the village. I was just coming up from that old school, you know, that was there after you turned off on the road back to the camp. And just as I got to the high ground, a 4 deuce short round landed right in front of us. I forgot who was with me. I think Bob Slavey. And it went off right in front of us. So you could see the chunks and nothing hit either one of us or the Jeep.
Wow.
So do any of you, go ahead.
I was going to say, and Bill or Greg might have been there. We were zeroing in the 4 deuce one day. And the camp, the LLDB commander came over and says, I want to fire it.
Uh-huh.
He dropped around right in the middle of the village.
Yeah, LLDB were like fucking worthless.
You know, killed a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
And he took the family a case of ice cream.
Holy cow.
That was really cool of him.
Well, this is a guy, hopefully, that got executed the next year. Steve's got the story. I know he was convicted. Don't know if he was executed for other things, not for this.
That wasn't Diary Ty though, huh?
Yes, it was.
Oh, it was Diary Ty.
No, Dawee Dop.
Oh, Dop. I never knew him.
DAP.
Oh,
He
okay.
had been at Hatan.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know why he got transferred, but anyway, he was running Ghost, and he said something to the XO one day, and the XO says he was paying. The XO says, I'm done. And came back over, and Dawee Dop threatened to shoot the XO. So we're all in flak jackets and hard hats, and I've got a 90 millimeter aimed at their team house door. But anyway, he finally got caught.
I'll be darned.
Was supposed to be executed, but I don't know if he ever got it or not.
So Bill could probably tell you this. I don't know if any of you all experienced it, but before you went out on an operation, you had your really early morning briefing. Then you left everybody and puked because you were so scared. You didn't want anybody to see you that you were, and you rejoined everybody. But as you walked out of the camp, all top secret, nobody knows we're going, the Catholic Church would ring the fucking bell.
Yeah, I don't
tell
remember that.
everybody that we were leaving. This happened to us all the time.
Yeah, the Catholic priest was probably the biggest Viet Cong in the south end of Icor.
He'd ring the bell, let everybody know we're going, what the hell?
It didn't matter who you told or what you tried to do, nobody would do anything to this guy.
Yeah.
Well, I have a souvenir somewhere here in my closet that he gave me when I left Trevong. Yeah. And he invited all of us there for midnight mass at Christmas to that church.
Mhm.
And almost all of us went. Only a few stayed behind.
We
It
used
was
to go
quite
there.
a gathering.
I had taken Latin in high school, and I didn't have any Vietnamese, so we used to talk in Latin.
Really?
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, my.
Nostrum, Nostrum, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Bill, do you remember, I have, and this is for all of you, if you want to write this down, I've got literally thousands of really nice slides I'm going to have reproduced. I'm going to do an ebook on A107.
Oh, outstanding.
If you give me your email, my email is obie66@comcast.net. So I have some really striking, really good Kodachrome pictures of mountain yards in the wild, way up in the middle of no place. And I got some great pictures of Bill Mellon. When we got attacked, a tiger came into the village.
Oh, really?
Killed a couple people, and it came into our camp, and we killed it. And I wanted, some of the claws, and they wouldn't let us have it, but because the village chief got the heart, the other lesser people got the lungs, whatever, but they let us have the skin. So I skinned it and put it on top of this concrete 30 cal bunker we had, put salt on it, and we got hit for like 4 days. So it got hard as a rock, and we wound up just sticking it up on the walls like a piece of cardboard. But Bill, I got some great pictures of you with your head.
I would like to have.
Right by that tiger's
I'll get
mouth.
in touch with you.
Yeah, get my email. I'm working on, somebody's gonna help me take these Kodachrome slides and make them digital. And so I want to do an ebook of all of the time I was there. If any of you want to contribute, you have a story or something like that. I don't have the money to make a book, but somebody said I can do an ebook with photos and just bullshit in between the pictures. I like to do that because to me, it was a beautiful place. I enjoyed it.
It was, but it could get dangerous.
The leeches were an issue with me, but
I didn't experience
Yeah, I
that.
reckon.
Look, Bill,
I've got some nice photographs. I want to make them available to all of you.
Oh, that'd be great. Did
Nope.
any of y'all use the CBs to do any work around the camp?
Used who?
The camp was built by CVs.
Yeah, we had them come out
Oh,
there and they
Civilian River
did
Defense.
they completely rewired everything. And then we couldn't get them to leave. They wanted to stay around, and they went into the village and redid all the bridges, all those creeks that used to feed into the Trebong River that had been destroyed. We redid all those bridges. They're all wooden, that redos, but they worked on schools. They were there. I bet they were there 3 to 4 weeks, but we had to finally just have Caribou come in and get them because they didn't want to leave. We had the same problem with the Caribou people. One of the planes went off the edge of the runway on an aborted takeoff.
I got pictures of that.
Oh, do you really?
Yep.
And
You got pictures of a different one, Bill.
Maybe it's a different one.
yeah, this was early '68, and they sent a recovery team out from Cameron Bay, and headed by a guy named Yanovich, an Air Force major. We used to call him Yanovich, the son of a bitch. And another problem, they didn't want to leave either. Like out there.
Well, the Caribou Squadron started using Trebong as its training strip. It was only 800 feet.
One.
So it was the shortest one in I Corps.
Yeah.
Right.
And they finally decided if you can't land at Trebong, you can't belong to the squadron.
Yeah. All those
So
guys.
anyway,
We had
one
Air
guy
America come in
out,
and drop stuff off.
and it's
Yeah.
his first flight, and he stalls it at the western end too soon.
Yeah.
And it shears off all the landing gear. So
Oh.
here he is cartwheeling down the runway.
Well, ours, the two engines were damaged, the blades, of course, and the front landing gear. It was just nose down right over the edge.
Okay,
So
he
it was
didn't
down
make
like
this
this.
guy didn't make it to the far end, but it's kind of the same thing.
Well, those guys were all reservists from North Dakota or.
Those were cool planes, though. They were.
Oh, they were
cool.
terrific.
They were
Do
like
you remember when they? I guess it was Christmas of '68.
yeah, come with a Santa Claus that had his.
And the Santa Claus plane comes in.
Yeah, I got
And
pictures
it's
of it.
landing, and there's one Vietnamese that stands in the middle of the runway watching this thing land.
Yeah.
He never moved till the thing just hit him in the face.
Really? The biggest problem I had with Vietnamese trying to sneak out at night through the minefields go down to the village, you know, if they had
Well,
family,
no.
whatever down there. We lost maybe
Yeah.
half a dozen, something like that. Hit a mine in the middle of the night, you know. These guys are something else.
And those mines weren't mapped either.
No,
No,
I'd hate to be trying to redo that place.
Oh, man.
Who put those mines in?
I don't know.
Australians.
They were there when I
Australians.
got there.
The Australians did, they didn't record them. They didn't,
Okay.
you have to do a
Australians.
Are
chart.
you talking
That was a
about,
big thing why we used
excuse
to
me,
exfoliate
are you talking about the toe poppers?
Yes.
all around the perimeter,
I put the toe poppers in there and I made a map for them.
but not
Somebody threw it
find
away.
Somebody threw it away. That's what I'm saying. There were
Nobody's
incompetence
ever
there.
seen the map.
Yeah, I put all those toe poppers in,
Really,
Chris Bacher can verify it. And that's one of the reasons when he told me to burn it out, I said, you're going to set off all those mines that are in there, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't listen. And, that's just part of the history of Trabong itself, not your.
But
history.
Obermeyer came along later and came up with a better idea than burning. He used Agent Orange.
Oh, great.
Yeah, they
So
sprayed
we
it.
all,
That's-
we all
that's
now
essentially what I
have.
I
used.
love that
another-
shit. I loved it.
That's
It was-
essentially what I did when I defoliated it. I used that, all of that. That's what they sent out to the camp. That's what we used.
Well,
So it was
well,
already
I-
defoliated.
One time we're on a mission and I'm walking and it's, how dark it is and everything. All of a sudden, I thought, wow, we're on the top of a mountain or something. And all of a sudden I kept seeing light and we come out and it was all black. It was the coolest thing I ever saw. I went, this is cooler than shit. Everything was dead for like, as far as you could see to the right or the left. And you had to hustle across to the other side. And then somebody told me what it was. And I went, man, this is the best thing that's happening.
We didn't know then, did we?
We didn't have earplugs either.
I know, but
Oh, excuse me, don't shoot at me right now. I got to put my earplugs in and put my safety goggles on and put my mask on to keep any dust from getting in my nose. No, we didn't
Yeah.
have any of that.
No.
I can't remember smelling Agent Orange at all. I mean, it's a 2,4-D base herbicide,
Diesel fuel.
and it's got a distinct sweet smell to it. And I just can't remember ever smelling it.
Look, I got a call from a Canadian company and they were asking me, why is the greatest concentration of Agent Orange in the middle of the Ashau Special Forces camp?
Okay.
And I called up some people from that camp and they referred me to Westmoreland's book, The Soldier Reports, where he came to the camp. Somebody shot at him across a field of grass. And he said, well, look, you can't, if you can't clean it out, it's just an old French minefield, I'm going to send you Agent Orange. So he sent barrels of Agent Orange to Ashau. They brought it into the camp. Then and they never got around to using it. So the barrels are all stacked up in the middle of the camp. The camp is attacked. And those barrels are just holes.
Oh, I never heard
leaked
that.
right there. There's one spot, which I had one guy said that's the spot where the barrels were when they sent me the map. So, if there's anybody to blame for Agent Orange having a heavy concentration there in the Ashau Valley, it's the NVA.
Yeah.
Bill, and everybody else, on the email I sent you inviting you to this meeting, everybody else's email is listed there.
Okay, very good.
So if you just want to have a different meeting or get Bill's book or something like that, all you
Okay.
need to do is just forward that email, just forward the names and just write what you want underneath it. You can go have another meeting like this, you do what you want. After I finish this meeting, I've got to move on to other camps in I Corps and then down to 3 Corps.
So Stephen, could I want to say thank you. You've done, it's been a lot of work and a lot of patience dealing with good people and bad people. And it's very kind of you to do all this. I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Over the years, all the work you've done has just been terrific.
it's almost all good people that I've been dealing with here, and I'm very happy to do that.
I thanked you several times, Steve, and I'll thank you again. This is just above and beyond.
Well, now
Yeah.
this is something,
Yeah.
this is something we can do. And have a meeting
Jim
like
really
this.
enjoyed this.
Well, that's good.
He's been listening to all of it.
Who's
He
that
was there
good-looking woman there? Oh, you're a lucky guy.
Because Jim can't talk. He was there in 66 and 67 and really enjoyed listening to all of you. Thanks a lot.
Oh,
You're
you're
welcome.
very
Good
welcome.
to
We're
see
happy
you.
to have you
He
here.
was at
Good
the
to
camp
see
when I
you.
was there. He was at the camp when I was there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I got
Okay.
one more quickie combat story if everybody's I think Obermeyer and Plotz probably know this. Sometime in 69, and I don't remember when, Ken Garner was our senior commo guy. He had come up from Bateau. And he and our XO, Bob Cowles, had gone out on operation. And they've been out a couple of days. All of a sudden the radio comes on that says, Lieutenant's been shot, Lieutenant's been shot. Well, we don't know if he's dead or wounded or what's happened to him. And finally, Bob Cowles comes on and says, I'm okay. When they get back into camp, Bob Cowles has a 30 caliber bullet that he brought with him. Evidently, he had been at maximum range. It stuck up between his eyes and did not go in.
Oh, my, yeah,
That's amazing.
that is something.
Yeah.
Hey, I
That's
wanted to
Tell
ask,
your grandkids about.
I wanted to ask if Bateau had MACV come in,
Uh,
besides the Marical Fire Base and Med Station. No?
I
Don't
don't-
know.
I'm
Yeah,
looking
I
at
don't either.
Yeah.
When I first arrived there in Trebong, the Marines had the AO over there by Chulai, and then the Americal.
Yeah.
I forgot, what was it, the 198th Brigade, 196, whatever it was. And then the Americal was established and the Marines went north.
Right.
Bateau
And,
turned over to Border Ranger Battalion.
Yeah.
In 1970.
I think we had a VCNVA prison camp in our NRA in Bateau that had 2 Marines down there. The Marines tried to set up an observation post on one of the mountains, but didn't realize it was fogged in most of the time. And they were ambushed, and 2 of the recon force, or whatever they call the Marines, were taken prisoner.
We had Harvey Brandy from Trebong. He took a ride up to Quezon and he got captured. I don't know if you ever knew Harvey or not. But
No.
Now, Harvey was captured at
Long Bay.
Bay.
Long Bay, excuse me. Yeah, not Quezon.
And he just passed away a couple months ago.
Oh, he did. Oh, I'll be darned. Yeah, I was home on leave from on R&R or whatever you want to call it, and I was watching the repatriation of the prisoners, and there comes Harvey trumping down the ramp of the aircraft. He had been repatriated in that flight. That was something to see. I thought he was dead, to tell you the truth.
You know, when I got sent to I-Corps, the first person I had to do anything with was Harvey Brandy. He had a deal going where he was running the club at the CP, and he would have the girls that worked there fix ham and cheese sandwiches every day. And then we'd take them over to the Marines and he'd sell them for like $5 a piece.
Okay.
and come back. And then he always made sure he somehow figured out how to get his money to his brother, who would send him back $100 bills. Then he'd take the $100 bills downtown and sell them for, whatever it is in piastres. He'd get 50% increase. And, he knew that the VC were getting the $100 bill. He didn't care. But he was a fun guy. We got sent together to Chu Lai when the Marines were making the changeover from the M14s to the M16s.
Oh, yeah.
And we went down there to work with the recon Marines. And our job was to train them how in the care and feeding of the M16 weapon, because they were used to taking their weapons and dipping them in this half barrels of oil, things like that. And, you know, just all the oil in the world. And we kept trying to tell them that'll cause your weapon to jam on you when you're out in the dirt. And sure enough, you tell them that, they'd still do it. And then I remember they went out on a patrol once and half of the guys got killed because the weapons jammed. Because they put too much oil on, you know, and they couldn't get it out. But no, but Brandon was a great guy. He really was.
Well, I was at Trebong. We had the M16 A1s, and we had to turn them in and draw M1 carbines for a period until we were resupplied with A2 M16s.
Yeah.
And so for about 3 months, all we had were carbines.
So
When I came to
That's all I ever
Trabond,
carried.
a short
That's all
story
I
on
ever carried.
a short story on the carbines. When I first came there, all the yards have these really cool pistols, and they love movies. They all think we had a Buick station wagon and a Volkswagen in a 3-car garage because of the movies we show on the reels. But they'd have these freaking pistols. Now, what the hell are those? They would take the M2 carbines, cut off the barrel and the stock, and put them in a holster. They couldn't shoot a damn thing because there's no barrel on it. But they made like pistols out of them. I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
they look like Steve McQueen's old
Yeah.
rifle.
Oh, yeah.
Wanted dead or alive. Yeah.
2X.
Pistols with a banana clip.
Did you guys carry on the tradition of playing pinochle in the team house?
Oh, yes.
Well,
When I
I have
was-
to tell you, because he's on here, James Jockums was probably one of the better pinochle players around, but I think he cheated. I think that it's not beneath him to cheat a little bit. I don't
He
know.
just laughed.
Well,
You didn't
he
get to tell
didn't,
him.
because I beat him all the
See,
time.
he did. He gave it away. I know. Yeah.
They were all chess
Signals.
players when I was there. We always had a game of chess going
Oh,
24
no,
hours
we
a day.
didn't have any chess players that I know of.
No,
Yeah, I did. Finally, unfortunately, he's dead now. Andrew was out there. He was an intel sergeant assistant for a while, and he ended up getting killed in Laos, unfortunately. But he was a great guy, and he and I would play. He and I would listen to the only records we had. We listened to the Supremes and we played chess. That was our bonding. And
Yeah, it was a
he was a
big
great
chess,
guy.
big
Yeah.
chess team house when I was there. Everybody played chess except me.
Well,
one night on the operation out there, darker than hell, and the yards are pointing to the moon. And they're going, I'm going, what the hell? They're pointing to the moon. Well, that was when we had landed on the moon. And they knew it before I did.
Really?
I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. But
I'll be-
somehow out in the middle of the bush, in nowhere, I got the radio. They somehow got the message we had landed.
That's
That
amazing.
was pretty.
Well, you know,
sweet.
he's out on operation. The rest of us were in camp, and we were in the kind of parade ground there in front of the Vietnamese team house.
Yeah.
And we've got all the CIDG there, and we're watching Neil Armstrong land and walk on the moon. And we're pointing and saying, you know, this guy's up there, and they're all saying dinky down,
Dinky
you know.
Yeah.
We couldn't get them to believe it.
Yeah, that is amazing. Oh, wow.
I thought Dinky Dow was my name.
oh no, that's not good.
Oh,
That's not good at all.
Nobody ever told
who was
you.
the cook when you were there?
Huh?
What?
Who was the cook?
At
Bob?
Bateau? No, wait.
No, at Trebon. Harry?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, Ba. Ko Ba.
I can't.
Don't remember Ba.
That's
Harry
too late.
was the.
There were two ladies,
Yeah.
Ko Ba and Ko.
Kodep.
I think you're right, Kodell.
Yeah, she was young when we were there. And
Yeah,
yeah. She
yeah,
was
they
one
were
of our
good
cooks.
cooks.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yep.
we would check all the take home stuff because they always have food left over. And Doc Dreyer, God bless him, there was all these tin cans full of leftover food on the top, like stew, whatever the hell it was. And so Dreyer comes over and goes, "What the fuck? We can't have this much left over. We didn't eat, you know." So he starts to get a K-bar out and it starts to stab into the cans, and they all freaked out. Oh my God! And so they all got caught because they had taken good cans that weren't open and put them in bigger cans and poured the soup on top to hide it to on with it.
Mhm.
I'll never forget those gals were like freaking out.
I gotta go, but do you guys have time for one quick story?
Yes.
Okay.
We're ready.
I'm going on a long walk with Hank Luthi. We start up the side of the mountain early in the morning, and he said, "We're going to take our first break." He sits down and he opens up his backpack and pulls this cloth out to wipe his brow off. Well, the night before that, he'd been in Quang Ngai, and he had a pair of women's underwear that he was wiping his forehead with. And if you know Hank Luthi, you really got to appreciate that, because I had him by the balls with that one.
Yeah, no kidding.
I saw him years later at an SF reunion, and I said, "How you doing, Hank?" He says, "Henry." And I said, "Hank, remember the underwear, Hank?" He was a great guy to work.
Yeah.
Any of you know him, and he was a character and one of the really great ones.
Does anybody remember any of the seat attachment sergeant majors?
Oh, yes.
Everybody knows Herman Hodge,
Herman Hodge.
Oh, Sergeant Major Hodge, yeah.
Oh, yep.
Preacher Hodge.
Did he try to convert you guys?
To what?
See, there was no C team when I was there. They were just getting ready to reestablish it in Quang Ngai when I was there, but it hadn't become operational yet when I left in August of '68.
Does anybody remember Vadrine?
George Vadrine, yeah.
That name rings a bell. I don't remember.
He's earlier than most everybody here. Look, before you go, let me put in an advertisement. Anybody who does not have the Green Beret magazines, I still have some sets in my warehouse. So these are the monthly magazines for Vietnam. If you don't have them, you don't recall. I put them in yearly volumes and index the shit out of them.
Really?
There were a couple of them that had.
I have all the original ones. I saved them all.
Yeah.
All the original ones you have put away in plastic bags. They're worth about $60 a piece.
Really?
on each.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And these here, $150 for the set, all 52 magazines.
Wow.
And they're indexed so you can find shit.
I will tell you, I have a set of those that I've had for 30 years now.
Yeah.
They are worth the money, and I can sit and read for hours.
It's like having a yearbook. You're not going to
It
give away your high school
It's
yearbook.
exactly what it is.
I never heard of him until you contacted me on this. That's, of course, I was discharged from the service back in,
You were too early. He didn't start till August of '66.
yeah.
That was the first issue. And that's when Sergeant Major Dunaway came down from Okinawa and he brought the idea.
Uh,
Sold everybody a watch.
No, that was Odom.
Oh, I thought that was George.
No, Dunaway was too straight. Odom was the watch salesman.
Okay.
However, I had a story about him, one of the earlier things. We knew him as a watch salesman. Here's the guy saying he was in Okinawa with Odom. Odom sold him a watch at that time, right? A couple of years ago, his wife bought him a brand new Rolex because the old Rolex was old. So he takes his Rolex, his wife buys him, takes the Rolex that he bought from Odom, ostensibly feeling that he got ripped off. He paid, so much a month out of his little meager pay. He took that Rolex that Odom sold them to the dealer, the jeweler downtown, and had like I don't know how many thousands of dollars that they
Oh,
gave
yeah.
for that old Rolex, much more than the wife paid for the new one.
I paid $100. Somebody here is wearing one, but I have a stainless and gold, or did have. I gave it to my son. That I paid $187.50 for it at China Beach.
Hmm.
Last year it was valued at $14,000.
Right.
Geez.
That's probably like, kind of like, I don't know, where's my, there we go.
There you go, right
That's
there.
it.
Looks just
Like
like
that.
that.
I bought an Omega. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Seiko was the one that everybody wore when I was there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
but-
didn't wear it. I didn't wear it till I came home.
Yeah. Well, this is a lot newer than way
Oh.
back.
What you really need now is the old Timex you used to wear on operations.
That's what I still use.
The old green Timex.
Yeah.
It didn't have the value that the Rolex did. And I tell you, for all the people who complained about Odom selling them watches, they made, for the most part, he did them a real favor.
They need to send him a thank you card.
A Rolex GMT Master at China Beach was $167.
Is that right?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've got a shout out for Bill Obermeyer that I want to do it while he's still there. He taught me everything about scrounging there was. I kind of took over from him. And he also showed me how to do the recon platoon, to patrol with just the recon platoon, which during the year I was there, I was the only one that took out anything less than a company. So thanks a lot, Bill.
Oh, you're welcome. Less people, less noise.
Yeah, for sure.
Well
I'm
trained
going to
people.
check out.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see.
Hey, Bill,
Yes,
before I leave, I want to thank you for visiting me in the hospital. Do you remember when you did that?
I don't think I do.
No, Guy Weaver.
I did. Yeah. That's been a while.
That's when I had falciparum malaria.
Yeah,
Yep.
And,
okay.
Malaria.
I just love taking those pills.
those
Yeah,
pills,
well-
those pills
They
didn't
work.
work for falciparum. So when the NBA came in to set up their attack on us, they brought in falciparum malaria, and it's the most wicked of the 5 different malarias. And
That's
Yeah.
for sure.
You know,
Yeah,
look-
I came home with malaria. Yeah.
well,
Hey,
I
Lee
did
Barnes?
too, but not that.
Not
Yeah.
falciparum, no.
No. Lieutenant Cowles had that also.
I think all of us got it at least.
Just a bad case of diarrhea that doesn't stop.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that was
when
dysentery.
That's when that latrine came in handy.
So that's
No,
why
that's
Pryor and I
dysentery,
had
guys.
conflicts. Obi, you
Tell
take
you
your
who-
pill.
who
I go,
else visited
No,
me
I'm
in
not
the
taking that pill
hospital?
again. No, I'm not taking it.
Gypsy Rose Lee came in.
Gypsy
She
Rose.
sat on the bed, put her arm around you, chatted. I was out of it.
They
There's
did.
there's a picture of that somewhere, Greg.
There was a picture in the team house on the bulletin board, and I don't know
Okay, I
what
can
happened.
remember.
wish I had that
I just
picture
remember seeing the picture.
with her and me. You know, she died shortly after she went back to the States,
Yep.
but she was quite a gal.
Hey, was there still a Playboy centerfold there in 68 after August or beyond?
Yes.
Up on the wall? That was Harold Dakin's wife. I don't know if you ever knew
Oh,
Harold Dakin.
wow. Did not know that.
Yeah,
Oh, I haven't.
one of his wives.
Another quick question. Does everybody know that John Wayne was portraying A107 in the Green Berets?
No.
True.
No, it was
Really?
A102.
He was. If you watch it or listen to it,
Yeah.
you'll hear a couple of references to A107.
Yeah.
No, but I talked to Facy,
Bill,
and the script for that was written based on Oshkosh. on A102.
Oh, yeah, I
He-
knew that.
He may have
Yeah.
used the number 107 to describe it, because obviously the LLDB in charge, or the Korean guy playing the LLDB, was far more heroic than the LLDB ever
Oh, but they were-
dreamed to be.
Say, Stephen, if you ever have a chance to go to the John Wayne Museum in Iowa, in eastern Iowa, I
Iowa.
did. And it was his hometown. And I thought, well, just another museum, but it really was interesting. And they had a lot of his Green Beret movie stuff in there. The Fifth Flash had to be about 150% bigger than our Flash that we normally get. You know, it was just it's just a bigger thing. And I thought it was just an interesting museum to go through, to see all of his movies and memorabilia. Very interesting.
In-
You know, you talk about guys that were married to playmates. There was a guy on our team, and Barnes, I don't know if he was at Pascal, Sergeant Pascal, who also married the Playboy playmate. And she left him after about 3 months, I think.
Was that Pascal? Was he the one that he was a Filipino?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, he was on A107 when I was there, and his uncle was the one at the Deepwater Port in Da Nang that got us all the stuff all the time, and got it through the main gate there at the Deepwater Port.
Yeah, he's in.
He's in North Dakota or somewhere, Montana.
Last time I saw him, he was in California. He was a policeman in not San Diego, but right up from San Diego.
Yeah, we talked about probably 5 years ago, and seemed to me he's in Montana or Wyoming, somewhere up in there.
No, we must have moved. Eugene Pascal.
Ronald R. Pascal. In
Or maybe it
Lakewood,
was Ron.
California.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a different Pascal. They might have been relatives, because I know he had relatives in SF.
Did any of you guys meet Martha Ray over there?
No.
Never did.
Oh.
I was asked if I wanted to go in, and I was just too busy. I said no. Same
Wow.
thing with the other guy. What's his name? They came out. They would offer if you wanted to go in. And I just said no. I don't have time for that. What's his name?
Bob Hope?
No, the guy. It was her, and then it was the other guy that came out all the time. Did all the tours. Oh God, I can't remember his name, but
Aaron Burr did.
anyway, it was that kind of stuff was there if you wanted it. If you wanted to go in, you know.
Oh, Martha Ray came out to Bateau.
Martha Ray.
Yeah.
I never saw her.
Yeah,
Who was the
when I
guy
post-
that did all the tours? Forget his name. Anyway.
When I post this video on the website, go back to the about 2 videos before it, and you'll see a guy. I think the video is marked Martha Ray, but this guy had been the escort for Martha Ray for a while.
Oh, really?
Nice little story about it.
Was that Udo Walters?
No,
Okay.
it was Henry Tross.
Oh, okay. No.
But we recorded a little bit at the end of one session where he told us the story, and it was pretty interesting. So
Yeah.
when I post this, it'll be on the same page, and I'll let everybody know where it is. Just look up the page to one of the other camps, and you'll see Martha Ray.
Okay. Sounds good.
So a question for Greg Plotz. When you left, you offered me your weapon and your knife. And I had some little hunky, hokey thing. And I said, I don't want that. It's too heavy. Did you keep it and take it home?
No.
Because they're worth billions. They're worth billions. I remember you offering me that, and I said, hey, Bill, don't you want this? I said, nah, it looks too dangerous.
You know, we used to
I just
buy
wondered if you
those
kept
by
it, because those things go for big bucks now.
You're talking about the presentation knives from 5th Group.
Just the knife you're issued.
No, it's a K-bar.
Yeah.
K-bar, your
It's a
K-bar.
K-bar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got all mine here.
Yeah, well,
I got BC helmets, belt buckles. I don't know why I didn't get any South Vietnamese flags. I got one flag here and cartridge belt. I got a bunch of shit, a lot of mountain yard crossbows, backpacks they wove. I don't know what to do with it. I mean,
well,
I got a
Special
pile of
Forces was
stuff.
one of the biggest manufacturers of VC flags in South Vietnam.
Yes.
You know, Plots and Dryer used to be in charge of having flags made.
And on the knives, you know, I had to write in my will a little codicil to tell my kids, you know, if you don't want my knife and my beret, this guy will take it and pay a good buck for it. Then I mentioned it to somebody else, and he said, I'll pay you a hell of a lot more than that. So I
Really?
had to change that codicil to the will. But frankly, you know, a beret and a knife are probably worth what they paid us for a year in Vietnam.
Because this is an original beret with the leather, little cracked. This is my
No.
beret I had.
The beret with the big thing about the beret is the lining. If you got
Yeah.
something, your name in the lining or something,
Right.
that makes it a little bit more expensive.
No, this is just the regulation.
Yeah, I've got one of those, but I've got
What do
the
you-
ones, the old green beret that I wore was one of those from Europe, not American issue. And it was the lower crown or whatever. It had a different shape to it than the ones that we were issued later.
Well, all these people
Smell
have
like
weird
French perfume.
Pardon?
It smell like French perfume.
Yeah.
The French were good with their berets, yeah.
Is yours
Yeah.
line, Bill?
No, this is just a standard issue. It has the white lettering, the stock
Yeah.
number,
The day I reported, Ringo.
the leather,
took
the leather
mine-
border.
You remember Ringo?
Yes,
Interpreter?
yeah, yes.
He took mine to the village and they did a silk lining in it with a dragon and all this stuff.
Right.
And that's the one I wore all year. It's one I still
Is that
got.
right?
Yeah.
Ringo, what a nice guy he was.
He was.
He was, I'm sure they tortured him
You
to
know,
death.
The last operation I went on, we got hit kind of bad. He got shot in the heart.
Yes, you got.
You remember? And he had a fifth group lighter in his pocket, and a bullet hit the lighter.
No kidding.
Really?
Didn't
This,
kill him.
this was he was such a dedicated guy. It made you
Oh, he
feel
was.
proud to be there. Ringo was such a good guy. Yeah.
Were any of you guys there when Lieutenant Bay took over the Vietnamese Special Forces group?
They
No.
recall.
No,
Because he ended up being very corrupt. And I think he got charged with murdered a civilian or something, didn't he, Steve?
I don't know. What, Bill, what was the guy you had dealing with?
Doc.
Bill, I have a testimony that Bill gave an affidavit for the trial of this guy. I gave it to him yesterday. I don't know if you had a chance to go through it, but there's a whole bunch of attached files on it. Even the Vietnamese guy who's listing all the ghost soldiers that this guy was paying.
Mhm.
So it was kind of interesting stuff there.
Steve, you're going to do this for 106 next month, right?
Right.
Okay, all right.
So
And Bill, how do you know about John Jones, Captain John Jones down at
Well,
106?
John and I came into country about the same time. When I took 107, not very long, just maybe days or weeks after that, he took over 106.
Yes, okay.
And, you know, you'd have conferences in Da Nang once a month or once every 6 weeks or what. So he and I just got to be friends over a period of time and got to know each other, just kind of having dinner and getting drunk together in Da Nang.
He loved Chevrolet Regal, but what happened to him when he
Don't know. Never
okay.
heard from him after I left.
he just dropped off?
Now, here's
Okay.
here's one other story that most of you probably do not know. And we had a commanders conference in Da Nang for some reason. Don't remember. Colonel Reeder was the C team commander at that point.
Mhm.
Vadreen was the sergeant major. And I don't know, we'd had dinner and been drinking and all this. Everybody decides we want to go downtown to a bar. So every commander in I Corps and a sergeant major are getting one Jeep. And we go downtown. And this Marine MP lieutenant doesn't want to let us in. Well, we got in, but anyway, a whole squad of Marine MPs show up and arrest every SF commander in I Corps. And because the C detachment commander has to come down and sign for everybody to get out.
I've still got it up going on for A107. Well,
Who was the real husky sergeant major at C team?
Badrine.
Yeah, well, he was good buddies with Leonard.
He
And I
was.
went in-
They
I
were.
went in-
They were close.
Yeah, I went into C team one time for something or other, and he told me to look him up, and I looked him up, and we got in the Jeep. We hit about 2 or 3 places downtown. Brought
Yeah.
a woman back to the compound at C team, and I mean, this guy had everything going for him.
You know, and he had more Purple Hearts than anybody you'll ever meet. I think when I left, he had 18.
Oh my God!
who was this?
Sergeant Major
Sergeant
Badrine.
Major. Yeah.
Oh,
And who was the Jones or the lieutenant you were talking about?
Oh, he was the CO at 106.
What was his name?
John
John
Jones.
Jones.
John Jones.
You know, Bill, he spoke Vietnamese and he spoke 1-to-1 to the LLDB.
Oh, I did not
I-
know that.
Well,
Never knew that he spoke the language.
yeah, and he was okay in my book, but you know, in operations, he would just take out a carbine with one magazine. I thought, oh man, I don't know what you're gonna do if we get into
Oh,
trouble.
see, I never heard any of that, so I don't really know.
Okay.
He did all right with me.
I haven't
Okay.
looked for Jones yet, but I probably will find him because I've got some hints where he might be.
I need to make a correction too. When I was saying we didn't have any C teams, it was that we didn't have any B teams in I Corps.
Yeah.
When-
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they
It wasn't a
were
B team.
have us.
They were just when I left camp and went to the train, they were just starting to set up the B team in Chulai.
Yeah, well,
Quang Nai,
Chulai,
wherever they
Quang
ended
Nai
up.
is where- when I was there, they were designating Quang Nai as a B team headquarters.
And
But
you're
that-
Well, there was still when I left, in August of '69, they had nobody could make up their mind if they were going to put it Quang Nai or Chulai. And I don't know when I finally came home in March of '70, and I never really know where it finally ended up.
If it did at all, huh?
Yeah, don't really know.
There was a liaison office in Quang Nai.
Right.
Yeah, there was one when I was
So
there.
they played with B teams without a great
Yeah.
deal of success.
Yeah.
They won at Cam Duc for a while, won at Chulai,
No.
won at Quang Tri. Not all at the same time, just shuffled them around, just had liaison. And then Chulai came back again when Quinyon closed down, they moved it up there.
Oh,
Okay.
Badrine in 1969 got his 8th Purple Heart. So
Oh wow.
7 and 8 came from 5th group.
Okay.
Everything before that was somewhere else, Korea or
Oh, yeah.
wherever they'd been. He already was
Oh,
a staff sergeant major at that point. So he's kind of beyond the time when he should be out picking up bullets.
Okay.
That's SF.
But
Hey, to all of you though, if you're ever shot down in Portland, Oregon, you can have that's where I'm living.
oh,
So
why? Why?
Sorry to hear that.
you ever run into Bob Sheps in Portland? There, he lives on one of those houseboat things down on the river.
no, but I go to the monthly SFA meetings that we've got up. We've got a pretty good chapter up here.
Oh,
Good.
Are you armed?
Pardon me?
Are you armed?
No, not me. I've got my wife.
We were in Portland 2 years
Went out
ago,
at
and I
night.
hope I never see it again.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
I'm
What
wearing
has happened
my
in Portland?
Portland t-shirt here.
You're on A10 Portland, huh?
No, this is
A101
a
Portland.
109 T-shirt from the Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
convention.
No, I'm talking about they need a camp out there right now to help control.
They do.
They just all move out of Portland and leave it to the people. You know, go back, join Idaho.
Okay.
Steve, thanks a lot.
Yep.
Great meeting, guys.
Now, remember,
enjoyed
you guys
chatting with
can
you.
do this yourself. You don't need me. You got the list.
I have thoroughly enjoyed it.
I have too. It was nice to
It's
hear
one
what
of the
happened.
best ones I've been to.
You guys
I
get tired
came
of
to the
shoveling
practice
snow,
yesterday.
come out and visit.
Yeah.
None of
Okay.
the A107 guys showed up at yesterday's practice meeting.
You did.
No, I was at a luncheon. I couldn't show up for the
Okay,
practice.
I was the only one there yesterday, and it was all A109 guys.
Greg,
Oh,
weren't you there yesterday?
Well, they weren't as smart as we are.
But they did something we never did. We talked about it and never did it. They built a pool. They had a pool, an in-ground pool.
Well, the C team and Play Cool had a pool too.
Oh, well, yeah, C team is okay. C team, you expect it, but not an A team.
No, you don't expect it. Even today, just had to rely on China Beach.
Yeah, there's
Oh, yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, you mentioned Ashaw a couple of times, and they got me thinking because I saw something somewhere recently that they were having, somebody asked the Defense Department to review Billy Hall's commendation again. Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't, but I know they gave what was it? Benny Atkins got a medal, upgrade to a Medal of Honor.
Yeah, yeah.
So whether or not somebody goes elsewhere, I don't know. I've been on the periphery of people getting upgrades, and I don't understand anything about the process. It's complicated. It requires a great deal of tenacity and expertise. We're working on an upgrade. I was sitting as a fly on the wall for a group that was trying to get an upgrade for Paris Davis for a 1965 action. He was put in for a Medal of Honor, but MACV just gave him a Silver Star and said, well, we'll send it up. All the paperwork got lost. Never happened. They put it back in again in 1968. It all got lost again. So this group was trying to get him to be upgraded. And I'm sitting there just, listening. And they said, well, we're writing this thing up. And how are we going to describe what exactly happened? How are we going to tell them what happened? And I said, I just met these guys last summer on the internet. They're doing video games on Vietnam in a high level of detail. They talk to all kinds of SOG people. I've seen their work really good. And I said, you guys got enough money over here on the table. Let me go ask them if they'll draw some pictures for you. So I get back to them and they say, we would be honored to do it. We won't ask you for a dime. We don't want a dime. We'd just be honored to do it. They drew up about a dozen pictures, and the pictures all had to go through multiple iterations because somebody said the truck was lying on its side, this side, no, it's got to be that side. You know how this stuff goes. Editing pictures is not all that easy. So they get it all done and they get it up there just before Trump is gone. And at this point, Chris Miller is the Secretary of Defense. Miller, if you don't know that, ex-SF guy. The last day he was in office, they didn't get the award up out through the bowels of the Pentagon. They got it to Miller's desk. He saw it already. He approved it already, but how it gets out of the Pentagon, I don't know. Anyway, his last day in office, he sends somewhat of a form letter out to everybody who is involved in this operation, including me. But each form letter had a personalized note from him. This is Secretary of Defense. And the one he sent to the guys in England said, "You have set a new paradigm for award recommendations." And you never saw a happier bunch of people than these guys out there with their letter from the Secretary of Defense, the American Secretary of Defense, complimenting them on having set a new paradigm for award recommendations. They were so pleased. When this guy came out to Las Vegas to talk at the SF convention, I had to go to him and say, "Look, you can't understand how much your letter was appreciated." He did that on his last day in office. And I thought that was really very nice. He's a great guy, by the way. And I hope that I had his talk out in Las Vegas captioned, and I'm waiting for the chapter there to give approval for me to put that captioned version up. It was funnier than hell.
Okay.
So, we didn't get what was his name, Lake from Australia, to show up. As I said, he showed up there at about 1 o'clock this morning and said he was trying to get into the meeting.
Let me tell you a Lake story.
Tell me a Lake story.
I'll tell you, like, the first thing I didn't know is that to Australians, if you call them by their last name, that's an insult, because that's the way they refer to servants, by their last name. And in the Army, you call everybody by their last name. So I used to call him Lake, and he cussed me out one day. So you can call me John, you can call me Mr. Lake. Do not call me Lake. But we were on patrol one day. Lake was crazy. We were on patrol. It's early in the morning, and we're walking. We're trying to get to some water, and Lake sees something. He just sees something flash, and he says, "It's a VC. I'm going to go get him." And I said, "You better keep your ass here." No, I'm going to go get him. So he goes. We get to the water. We're at the little stream. And all of a sudden, about 100 yards down, maybe 75 yards down, Lake comes running out of the bush into the stream, yelling, "Shoot him, shoot him, shoot him." And I'm trying to think, this VC must be a badass VC. It's a tiger. That's what he saw the flash of. And everybody started laughing. Nobody could shoot. All the noise scared the tiger. But, and Lake was pretty embarrassed by that. But he was also the only guy. He'd ask me when I was at the Mole Guerrilla Force, he'd come in to Da Nang and ask me to take him to the Ooptaloy house, the Australian house, drive him down. And he'd make 3 stops at whorehouses before he got there. He was a hell of a man.
Yeah.
John Lake.
Okay, well, I've got to go. I've got to go to a dinner here in a little while. So I'm going to have to punch out of the net. Nice chatting with all you guys.
You too, Hank.
Have enjoyed it.
I enjoyed hearing everything about what happened prior to my time there, and especially after I was there. It really filled in a lot of holes. I appreciate it.
We have all enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was an experience, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Good talking to you guys. Take care.
All right, see you later.
Guys.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Steve. Bye.
So long, fellas.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
Good to see you, Greg.
Very welcome.
Nice seeing you, Dewey.
All right,
Bill?
time to feed horses. See you guys later.
I will email you tomorrow and talk about pictures you've got.
10-4.
Yeah,
Okay.
Outstanding.
Bill,
We'll see you.
if you want,
Yes, sir.
Texas Tech will transfer your pictures into PDF files, send you a CD-ROM, not
Text.
PDF, into JPEG or TIFF files. Send you a CD-ROM for free.
Really?
However, you have to donate your slides to them. So you've got to go through your slides, write captions on the slides or to the slides,
Okay.
and then contact Texas Tech or have get through me, and they will transfer them all for you, as long as that they want to add to their archive, the Vietnam archive.
What's it called? Texas Tech?
Texas Tech University.
Oh, really?
It's the Vietnam Center at Texas Tech University, and is probably one of the largest archives of material.
So I've got some beautiful pictures of the mountain yards, the women, tiger, so many. There was so much beauty there besides what we did.
They
The elephants.
did my slides that I had, and I don't know how many thousands of slides they did for me, and mine were not necessarily, or very few of them were Vietnam. Most of them were family slides, but they did it because they were looking at sort of the Cold War era. And
Right.
the slides were good Cold War era slides, and they did a really good job. I got a CD-ROM out of the deal with all the pictures I could use for myself. But the important thing is, no pictures do anybody any good if they don't have good captions.
Very good. Yes, I understand.
So only you know what's in the pictures. And I'm working, for example, right now, my meeting next week is going to be my OCS class. And I have found one way or the other, all but 12 of the people in the OCS class.
Is that right?
Oh, wow.
And
Outstanding. Yeah.
I just sent out yesterday a 100 megabyte file of pictures from our OCS class from all periods, from OCS to obituaries today. And
What company were you in?
53rd company,
Okay,
as 1166 was our class number.
okay. I was in 63rd company.
Mhm,
We were 166.
mhm.
We started on the 4th of July.
166, you were before us.
Yeah, 6 months.
The big problem that I had, because I was under misinformation, I thought the Agent Orange file was created by the government, and apparently it was not. It was created by the lawyers, and they solicited people to come in and give their information. They didn't have a total database the way I thought Agent Orange file was. But I know some people who have copies of that file. I don't know if they're different. The two people I knew both had the same source. And I had them search the file for everybody who had a date of rank of August 23rd, 1967. And I got back about 150 people, of whom 50 of them were classmates. The rest of them, none of them were first lieutenants on that date. You had majors and captains and all kinds of people, including one guy who was chief of staff for the Army. What's his name? He was SF too. He and his brother were both SF, but they were on the list. And I had, from that list, I had social security numbers of 50 people, which was pretty good because our class was too early to have socials on the documentation we had going into the class.
Do you remember your number?
05331555, something or other. I don't know. Close. I can find it really easily. Really.
Never forgot mine.
But January 1st, they changed the socials. Then by 1990, they were trying to hide the socials. And what a zoo. I mean, there was no reason for them to change from Army serial numbers. Absolutely none at all. And then in 1990, I found, or after 1990 sometime, I found a contractor to the military who had a file on a disk of 600,000 award orders.
Wow.
And I said, I'll pay for you making a copy of that disc. I'll pay for the transport, everything. Go out right to the manufacturer who will do a good job of copying it. How about that? Will you let me do that? And she said, yeah, no problem. I think I better ask.
Oh, no.
So she asked, and that was the beginning of a 2-year, 3-year lawsuit.
Yeah.
with the
Bad
Secretary of
move.
Defense. Yeah, I learned never to do that again. But now I can't do it because I'm just too old. But that basically was, I would have broken that down to all the different unit historians in among the veteran groups, and we would have made a database. And I have a database that took 3 man years to put about 9,000 Special Forces award orders into the database. I had 2 other guys helping me. We each worked on it for about a year's worth of time.
Oh,
But I can do magic tricks with that database. You have somebody who went on an operation on a given date. Okay, like today we were talking about somebody or another, and I was trying to find out if
Steve,
somebody
have
else
you-
got wounded on that day.
Have you seen your old OCS battalion area lately?
Yeah, we saw it all. It's all changed. Those were pretty nice buildings for that time. They tore them all
Do you
down
know-
and made fancier
Do you
ones.
know who's there now?
No,
It's the 503rd.
the what?
The 503rd.
Well, anyway, that was an interesting time, and I'm looking forward to our reunion here on the next week. And what I've got. Let me show you this.
You will know more. You already do know more, but by the time you finish all these meetings, nobody will have the knowledge that you do
And then
about SF.
I'm going to die and take it with me.
Well,
So it doesn't all work all that well.
but
All right.
whatever you get out of it, you have more than earned.
All right. Well,
This was tremendous.
all right. Here it is. Let's see how I'm going to do this. Okay. Share the screen. I'm sharing the screen now. And this is my OCS file. Where I have to put you out of the way. Okay. So we had a class book. It was a little different than what other classes did. All right. So that kind of stuff is here.
Okay. Looks familiar.
Yeah. And
is that Fort Benning?
that's Fort Benning.
Yes.
School for Boys.
My first detail on the day I reported in was to go down and ride that thing.
I've got a graduation ceremony, graduation orders, all kinds of stuff like that. Actual orders for the graduation with everybody in their home of record.
Very good.
Now the problem is this file is so big. I just sent it out last night, and everybody's having trouble today downloading it. It's a big zip file, and they don't know what to do. But some of the stuff that I picked up over time.
Have you guys stayed in touch over the years?
No, we had one mini reunion where I collected some data for it. But actually, I had all this stuff. I made the yearbook or the class book. We didn't send it out. I made it. And see, I've got all these ID card photos, really awful things, aren't they?
Hey, listen, I've got an issue going on downstairs. I'm gonna have to leave, guys.
Okay, look, get hold of me if you want to get those yellow books, because I
Yes,
think
sir.
I will call you tomorrow. And hey, Bill Obermeyer, give me your phone number.
805-835-3326. That's cell phone.
Okay,
And what is your area code? So I know not that I need to know that you're not gonna, I'm not getting a call to have my car insurance renewed or
770
770. Okay. I'll just remember.
251-4847.
Okay. Thank you, Stephen.
All right, well, happy to
I
have you.
appreciate it.
Sweet dreams.
Best
Thank
meeting.
all of you guys. This was a
Okay.
great meeting.